In this station, we're comparing the hip bone and pelvis of a human, a chimpanzee, to the hip bone for the fossil Lucy, which is Australopithecus afarensis, to think about whether Lucy walked upright like a human or walked primarily on four limbs like a chimpanzee. Right, so the first pelvis that we're going to look at is for humans or Homo sapien. So this would kind of be the front of the pelvis. This is the back where the spine is. These are essentially like your hip bones there. And we have our femur. So this is your upper leg bone, which this is a right femur. So we go here. It's a ball and socket joint. So you walk, you can move it around by having it in that joint. Now we obviously are bipeds. We walk on two legs. We walk upright primarily. There's some things that we can notice about it. Our pelvis is kind of more of like a bowl shape. It's kind of wider here. It's kind of supporting our upper weight more. The next pelvis we have is for a chimpanzee. So this is a chimpanzee pelvis. Same thing, the front and the back. Right? We can see obviously the shape is very different. It's a lot flatter than ours is. Right? Chimpanzees are bipeds. Chimpanzees can stand upright if they want to, the same way we can bend over and stand on four legs if we want. But they primarily walk on kind of all four limbs, their legs and their arms. So when it walks, it looks a little bit more like this, right? Our femur goes into the ball and socket joint here, and it's going to walk a little bit more like that. And so some things that kind of clue us in about the fact that it is a quadruped, meaning it walks in four legs, is kind of this flatter structure. The weight's supported a little bit differently. It's not kind of supporting down anymore, but kind of the weight's like that on all four limbs, so it's more spread out. So we're going to be comparing it to the one for Lucy, right? Now this one, it has two different parts. So with a lot of the skeletons of our early hominids, we don't necessarily have a complete skeleton. So this brown part is the part that we actually have a skeleton of, and then the gray part is an assumption that both sides are essentially mirror images of each other, so the other side would look the same. So if we look at Lucy, this is the front again, the back with the spine, right? So you want to think about the shape of this compared to the shape of the human and the chimpanzee to decide whether we think Lucy was a biped or a quadruped and how its pelvis is shaped.